I'm Tim Wells, I'm 51 years old and I'm from Kettering in Northamptonshire. I've worked in housing pretty much all my life since I graduated from Manchester Poly in 1980 whenever. So I spent 20 years working for a homeless charity and now I work for a housing association. There's 4 of us in the band and the kernel, if you like, was myself, Dean the singer and Tom who plays the guitar and the keyboards. And we all have 10-year-old daughters who go to the same primary school. So our wives got talking and they said, oh, my husband's a singer, blah, blah, my husband plays bass. So I was in a band with Dean 8-9 years ago, which was appalling, you know, classic dad rock doing shitty cover versions. And that ended. And then Dean rang me up about 4 years ago, said, oh, do you want to be in a band with me? He was thinking of doing cover versions. But I looked at the list of cover versions he wanted to play and I said, to be honest with you, I don't want to do that. If we're going to do cover versions, I'm going to do songs I like. So we started doing 60s, like garage rock, psychedelic rock, and doing a set of covers of cover songs was a good way to get started. So that got us gigs at local pubs. Then we started sneaking in our own material. So we'd do a couple of our own songs, then 3 or 4 of our own songs, and it got to the point where we could get gigs just playing our own songs, which is where I wanted to be at. My wife thinks it's really good, because I think she thinks it's either this, at least I'm not playing golf, I think she thinks, and my eldest son, Alex, is 19. He's at university now, and he comes to see us without me having to make him. So I think he probably thinks it's quite cool. And Charlotte, my middle one, I've got 2 daughters, and they both, I think they secretly think it's quite good. And their friends keep telling them what a cool dad they've got, so I'll take that. Our ambition when we started off was to get a gig at a place in Corby called the Zombie Hut, which used to put decent bands on. And so we did that, and we played the Zombie Hut 5-6 times and got to headline. And we used to get a good crowd there, and so then we tried to, at the moment we're trying to broaden our appeal, if you like, and come to play places like this. When I was 11 or 12 years old, I was sat at home watching Top of the Pops, and a band called the Stranglers came on, and I looked at that and I thought, wow, that's just changed my life. So I'm here because of punk rock, I suppose. And I think the thing about, well, the Stranglers were my favourite band, and my favourite person in the Stranglers was Jean-Jacques Bonnel, who was a bass player. So for me, the bass was always the coolest instrument, so that's why I play the bass. And punk rock was all about just being, it gave you permission to write your own songs and have a go, even if you weren't a trained musician or even any good. And I've been doing it ever since.
It's kind of like running, I found, or up to now, that I wouldn't enjoy doing it at the time, but the feeling of after it's finished. This is a different part of my life as well. You know, once I had a kid as well, I wasn't doing as much going out, so it's something you can do at home. We got 1 kid, we got another due any day now, which I'm not sure will kind of upset the equilibrium. But so it's been a kind of race to kind of get to a good level. And then, because if now we've got 2 kids and I'm not going to be able to kind of creep out as much as, you know, at night, as much as I had done so far. But it's been quite good, just the social aspect of it as well. That, you know, I'll be meeting up with 2 other guys in the band on every Tuesday, and, you know, we're getting together and playing. But it's also, if there are guys who you get on well with as well, it's just, you know, you're kind of, it's certainly work, but it's also it's good fun to do, you know, and I kind of really appreciate having that side to it. It's also had good knock-on effects with work, because once you kind of get up in front of people and you're kind of playing the guitar and singing to them and messing up solos and stuff like that, you know, you're able to kind of do presentations and stuff quite easily, really. It was quite tricky being able to, once I got back into playing the guitar and wanted to play to a much better level than I'd ever played before, really just how am I going to balance having a full-time job, having a family, and trying to do that. So it's just the fact that, working from home, not needing to commute in the morning, so I get up nice and early, can do some practicing there, but most of it's generally in the evening. No grand designs of taking over the world or anything, but it's just playing to a good level, being a really good band, and actually a band that people will, getting some kind of local following and people who appreciate what we do, really. If I didn't do this, it'd just be gardening.